Welcome to the Discount Property Investor Podcast, where we show you how to buy real estate at a discount so you can create wealth over time and income today. Our mission is to share what we have learned from the experience of others and help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate, the Discount Property Investor way. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back, Discount Property Investors. Your host, David Dodge and Mike Slane. Today we are going to be talking about closing the deal. Very exciting stuff. I'm super excited. Closing the deal is when you get paid.
It's the fun part.
It's the fun part
It really
here.
is, yeah.
So closing the deal, we've kind of touched on this a couple different ways in the past. Once you have done all your marketing, you have gotten your motivated sellers calling you, emailing you, saying, Dave, Mike, come by our house. You have then sent them offers. You've gotten contracts accepted. You've taken those contracts to your title company. You've opened escrow. You've networked with all of your cash buyers, and then you have sold the deal. You are at the finish line at this point. Very exciting stuff, folks. Very exciting stuff. So once you get to the closing, which is the very last step, we've previously talked about the two different ways that you can close a deal. You can do an assignment. Now, if you do an assignment, you're done. Once you get the assignment signed and you deliver the original contract, the assignment, and any escrow money or earnest money into escrow with your title company, you're done. You either get paid right then and there whenever you sign the assignment with your cash buyer, or you have to wait till closing and then the title company will pay you. But essentially, you're done. If you do a double close, you'll have to go to the title company. You'll have to close your original A to B contract, and then you'll close your B to C contract, and then you can get paid at closing right then and there. Now, some title companies, I know in the state of Missouri where we live, they're very investor friendly. So we can actually close our B to C, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours prior to closing our A to B. And we can use our C buyers' funds to close our A to B transaction. Now, not every state is going to be as investor friendly, and also title company by title company are going to have different policies on this. But where we do business, we can double close a deal with zero money out of pocket, and the only investment that we have made would have been either in our time or our marketing, which is really awesome.
Yeah, and we call it dry funding. I don't know.
Dry funding
is the term that we use for that. And if your state or title companies or the attorney that you have closed with isn't able to do that, if that's not an option, you can still do deals with no money. So you'll need basically gap funding or a short-term loan from maybe a hard money lender. And again, it's another step you're going to have to go through, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, gap funding, transactional funding, hard money loans, all these are different options, or private money. There's a lot of guys in our market that they've partnered up with people that have money, either in their IRAs or Roth IRAs, and they will lend them that money to close on transactions. Or sometimes you may even have to do a double close different day.
Right.
So, sometimes you can't line those deals up perfectly, which is okay. But let's just say your seller needs out next week and your buyer's out of town and he can't close until the following week. Well, that's okay. You have to close it whenever you can close your A to B, and then you just close your B to C a little later. So in situations like that, it's gap funding. You may need gap, for several hours. You may need it for several weeks, hopefully less, but definitely those situations do arise. So Mike, let's talk a little bit about finding the right title company.
Okay. So finding the title company is, don't get scared. It's not that complicated. You're going to pull up your computer if you have us.
Or a phone.
Or your phone, and you're going to type in this thing called Google. You're going to type title company, and a list is going to come up, and you're going to start calling them.
Call at least 6, 8, 10
pretty
of
simple.
them. Yeah, call them.
And I say that jokingly, but it's as simple as that. So look for title companies, call them, ask, say, hey, can I talk to one of your closers, and ask them a couple of questions. The things you're going to want to ask, first and foremost, is, hey, can you do a double closing for me? Can you do...
are you okay with assignments? You know, some title companies are weird about that.
Will you require me to bring cash to closing for a double closing if I'm wholesaling the deal? And if they don't really know what you're talking about, just kind of thank them for your time and move on to that next one.
That's a very good point. I mean, if they need you to explain their business to them, they are not the right fit for you.
Right, because there are title companies in your area that know how to do a double close, know how to do wholesaling.
They're going to know more about it than you are because they're dealing with tons of these transactions. And that's the idea. You want them to be able to coach you and help you through some of these transactions because sometimes the transaction will get a little goofy. It'll be a little difficult.
That's saying, like, if I'm the smartest man in the room, like I want to leave or something like that.
Something like that.
So you want to get to the title company. Well, see, I'm obviously not the smartest guy in the room most of the time. You want to go to an expert. That's why you're going to the title company, because they know how to research the title. They know how to clear the liens or clear any issues with the title. That's why you're going to them. So you want a title company that is an expert at in working with investors in doing these things for you. And then once you've done a couple deals, you can start asking them, hey, can you give me a discount? You guys are great. You know, yada, yada. You're building a relationship with them as well. So that's extremely important. Just call them, ask if they know what a double close is. I mean, it's as simple as that. And you can wait until you even... I mean, I wouldn't, but you could wait until you have a contract before you start screening them. And just say, hey, I'm ready to open escrow. And, you know, most of them, they're looking for business too. I mean, their business is closing deals. So they want your business, quite frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the title company will also provide other services to you as well. So, you know, the title company can do what's called running title on a property. So sometimes you may have a deal. Let's say you have a property under contract. And you know, you don't know what the existing liens are on the property. You don't know if there are, you know, sewer bills or back taxes. Sometimes you can look that information up, but oftentimes there's information that you can't look up. So the title company is also going to be, you know, your best friend when it comes to doing your due diligence and knowing all the details involved with the transaction. So, I mean, this is a rare situation or a rare scenario, but it has happened. Where, you know, I'll have a great deal on a property. I've got a contract signed between me and the seller, and I take it to the title company, and they come back and they say that there's $42,000 worth of taxes or liens, and my offer is $18,000, and boom, the deal blows up. So they can also be your best friend by, you know, helping you do some of the due diligence.
Well, and same deal, sometimes they clear liens like that.
Sometimes they can clear liens.
I mean,
absolutely.
It really just depends on the situation, and your title company is the one who does that for you, so they are your best friend.
Yeah, call a lot of them, get to know them, you know, ask them questions, and maybe even, you know, if they're local to you, if they're not too far away, drop in their offices, get to know them, ask if the owner's present. In the state of Missouri, usually an attorney will be present at a title company, or will have to be the owner of the title company, and see if he's available. Go meet him, shake his hand. And you know, some title companies in our area at least are investor friendly, others aren't, and some title companies will even kind of specialize in certain types of deals. Like, for instance, there's a title company that is known in the St. Louis area for doing subject to deals, and they're the best in the business for doing those type of deals.
So let's talk a little bit then about the closing too. So you've got a deal, you've got the A to B contract. Hopefully you've already opened escrow, and then you've got the B to C contract. And you're going to bring that to the title company as well. I remember my first deal. I was like, well, how do I make sure that I get the B people in and use their money and all that? Don't worry about it. That's the title company's problem. And just make it clear to them that that's what you're doing. As long as you ever said, hey, I'm going to be selling this deal or flipping this deal prior to closing on it, and they know that, and just let them know that, hey, the contract for the B2C is the same day. We're going to close everything up. As long as they know that, they're going to tell you what they need from you. If they need you to find transactional funding, and if it's something they do, they'll probably have some they can refer to you as well if it's something that's needed in your state.
Yeah, if you need transactional funding, they're going to know who's doing it because they're going to have other clients coming in using it. So they're going to be able to refer you to transactional funders or hard money lenders. That's a really good point, Mike. Very good point.
So it is very, I mean, you get excited and nervous, and it's, but again, the title company is the one that's going to handle it. You bring it to them, just explain what you're trying to do, and they'll help you through it. I mean, if you found an investor-friendly title company, like you ask them if they know what double closing is, and if they can do that, if they can do dry funding, Yeah.
It's simple. So let me give you an example of how I do it. I work with a title company that's maybe 4 or 5 miles away from our office. And they know me at this point because I send them a lot of business, and I'm constantly calling and emailing them with different questions or sending them deals. So I will have 123 ABC Street under contract. I will email the title company, and I will say, here is my A to B contract. I will be in this afternoon to open escrow with my $10 or $100 earnest money deposit. And then let's say I sell that deal in 7 days from today, and I will get my either assignment contract or my B2C contract. I will scan that in to my computer, and I will email that to them as well. The subject on that email will be B2C contract for 123 ABC Street. And usually I don't have to open escrow a second time. It's up to the end buyer, the cash buyer. If it's an assignment, they maybe want to transfer my earnest money. Regardless, I'm getting off topic, but that's it. I'll send 2 emails. The title company may respond back and say, Dave, we need, the name, the phone number, and the email of the seller, the name, the phone number, and the email of the buyer. And I'll provide that to them. And then they go out, contact them via email or call them, and they get all the information that they need. If there's a marital waiver that's needed, they get that. That's their job. So you don't need to worry about all the ins and outs of closing the deal. That's why we use title companies. That's why we hire them, because that is their job. Their job is to make the transaction clean. Their job is to coordinate all the individuals that are in the transaction to meet on a time and a day, to sign all the paperwork. Their job is to contact all the liens and make sure that they know all the figures on the deal, pay those existing liens off whenever the transaction occurs, and transfer the title, which is called a deed in the property case, from the seller to the buyer. And if you're doing a double close, that transfer will transfer into your name for 20, 30 minutes sometimes, maybe less, and then right into the end buyer's name. So don't overcomplicate it. Find a good title company. That's the hardest part. It's just doing a little bit of research in the market and maybe doing a little bit of, interviewing with these other companies out there. And, you may get lucky and find 3 or 4 title companies that are like, yeah, we're super investor friendly. We do assignments. We do double closes. We can make it easy for you. Great. So at that point, you just get a list of prices.
Yeah.
Shop the prices a little bit. Some of these, everyone's in business to make money. That's why you're listening or watching this episode here today, is to learn how to start doing wholesaling. By the way, freewholesalecourse.com. You can learn a lot more about it, and we're offering tons of free information on there. But they're in business to make money, so maybe shop them, or maybe say, hey, title company over here on this street's offering this price, can you match it? And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to say no. They're going to want to retain your business or earn your business, and they're going to say, yeah, that's fine, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gets more important the more deals you do too. Yes and no. Again, it's one of those things where, say we're doing, let's just say 15 deals a month, $500 difference, that's $7,500.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money.
It adds up.
That's a lot of money. And you talk about that every month. That's huge. So again, you want to shop around. First, find somebody who can do it for you. Then you can kind of shop for price. You do sometimes you get what you pay for. There have been title companies I've worked with in the past where I really did feel like I was doing a lot of the work, like coordinating times with everyone. And you will feel like that on some transactions too. It just depends.
Sometimes they may need
help.
Some of your help, which
absolutely.
Is fine.
Well, and you still need to be involved in the transaction because you're still working with that seller and you're still working with that buyer, developing the relationship or working that relationship. So it's not a 100% hands-off process, but as far as the heavy lifting, your title company should be doing it for you.
I agree. One more point on this is, it's always a good idea to have at least 2 or 3 title companies that you can work with. How many do you think we have worked with in the past couple years? 20?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, okay. Yeah. However, at this point, we have 2 or 3 that we use. We use one for just our main wholesaling because they're quick, they're cheap, and they know what they're doing. So we tend to go to them. However, they sometimes can't do certain types of deals for us. So we have another company that we use that will do those type of deals. Another one that we may use for subject to deals. And then additionally, some companies they can do it in 4 to 6 days, like I talked about in the last episode. Others may take 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So, just depending on if you need to do something fast, you may want to choose one company over another, or if you don't really have a time frame and you can get a better price by waiting 3 weeks, then go to that one.
Yeah. Every deal, I mean, again, it's deal by deal, because every time something comes up, and it's a variable. So there's so many variables, you can't account for all of them up front. You just kind of have to learn to think on your feet as you're doing the deals, and roll with it.
Roll with it. That's right. So closing the deal, guys, it's not that hard. Let the title company do the bulk of the work for you. If they need you to assist them, obviously do what you can to help. But, it's not that hard. Email the contracts, deliver the contracts to the company, and then that's it. They will handle the rest for you. Mm-hmm. So, if you have any questions, you can contact me, David, at Discount Property Investor. You can contact Mike
at discountpropertyinvestor.com. We're happy to answer any questions, help you guys along. Mm-hmm. If you want to learn more, there's plenty of information out there online. We've got all our properties available for sale at the discountpropertyinvestor.com, as well as a link to our free wholesalecourse.com. And that's going to have links to contracts as well as all the information we talked about in today's episode.
Absolutely, guys. So next week we're going to really kind of start jumping into some of the case studies. We've really gotten through the core components of wholesaling, marketing, sending offers, meeting the sellers at the properties, getting contracts signed, taking those contracts to the closing table or the title company, and getting paid. I mean, it is so basic. It is so simple. When I first got into this business, I tried to learn everything, and I overcomplicated everything, and it took me months to do my first deal, and now I'm doing deals weekly. And, it's just keep it simple. Don't overthink it, So next week, we're going to really focus on some of our recent deals, some case studies. What can you do today? Folks, you are in the marketing business. Don't forget it. Real estate is your product, but you are an expert marketer. And after listening to these episodes or watching these episodes, hopefully you've picked up a ton of information and gained a lot of knowledge. You are a marketing pro now. So get out there, do some marketing. Buy a list, send some letters or postcards, put some bandit signs up, get to your local RIA. So your action item for today is do more marketing if you haven't already started marketing. Mm-hmm. Okay? Very simple. Guys, check us out online, discountpropertyinvestor.com. You can subscribe in the top right-hand corner. Again, there's a free wholesale course that we're offering, freewholesalecourse.com. We would love to hear from you. And Mike, let's go ahead and end this episode with a quote.
Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing.
So true.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thanks in advance for your support. And remember, you make your money when you buy and get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.